All right, and welcome back to another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Sunday, May 22nd, 2022. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, etc. And come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyway, coming at you with another crypto update. I didn't do one last week. Was still feeling kind of sick, trying to rest my voice a little bit over the weekend. And we really haven't had a lot of action this week, so I didn't feel like it was really worth doing a midweek update. But we're going to do one now anyway, and keep it rolling here. So very tight range, as you can see here. We're just looking at Bitcoin right now. And, a really choppy range. And sometimes when you have, a big washout event like this, it kind of sends like a shockwave. I mean, it's certainly sent a shockwave through the crypto market. And, it spilled over to the equities market as well. And a lot of things, I've spoken about this earlier. A lot of things are tied to Bitcoin. People have, basically are leveraged. They have their homes leveraged on Bitcoin. I mean, there's, there's lots of leverage in the system. And so it spills over to everything. But overall, you can see it's kind of, we came down here and we haven't had kind of a V shape. We haven't had a test of this lower candle either. It's just been very tight. And the market's trying to figure itself out right now. And it's really just kind of stuck in this range at the moment. Now, previously I've said that, if you do move down, if we do fade a little bit, this tail candle will hold, especially on the first try. Eventually, I think it will break. And I've been calling for 20,000, sub 20,000 possibly, Bitcoin for quite a while here. And that's based on all these kind of long-term patterns that we see here. But overall, in the near term, I still think Bitcoin probably has a good chance to move up to 34, maybe 36. Top, max move would be like 38,000. And, that may roll over and test these lows first. I previously stated earlier in this week that a lot of times when you have a big tail candle like this and a kind of a capitulation candle, essentially, look at the volume there, by the way, big volume there on that capitulation candle. Sometimes you come down and retest it on the way down, maybe even pierce it. But usually it ends up holding on that first test, assuming you're still oversold when you go down and test it. If we chopped here for the next 3 weeks and then we came down, well, then I'd say that that has a chance to break, has a higher chance of breaking, right? But if we were to roll over now in the next couple of days or even the next week, maybe I think this would hold up pretty well. You could possibly see if you look at some of the other cryptos here. So Ether, you can kind of see it a little bit on Bitcoin. It's still intact there, but Bitcoin's definitely stronger. But you can see it on Ether. You do have a bearish inside bar here, a small one. You can see it on Doge a little bit, Polkadot here, nice little bearish inside bar. Although Polkadot does have a nice little bullish candle right here that you're also inside of, so maybe holding up a little bit better. You see it on Litecoin, XRP, Solana. So nice level there on Solana, by the way, going right down to this area. Nice level of support there and a nice tail candle. Cardano, same thing right there. I drew this trend line in a couple of weeks ago for you, but went right to that level and got a nice bounce off that. And then you can see that bearish inside bar. So it's possible we could see a little bit of a rollover maybe this week. But again, like I said, I expect that tail to hold for now, and I expect to move up some type of a counter trend rally, at least in the near term, and that should coincide with a rally in the equity markets. The markets have been down 7 weeks in a row. Dow has closed 8 weeks in a row, down 8 weeks in a row, twice ever. Let me repeat that. The Dow has closed down 8 weeks in a row twice ever, and both times it resulted in a 50% rally, 50% retrace rally. Both of those times. So with the market's oversold, we know that. Yes, they're going to do quantitative tightening. We know that. What do you think the market was pricing in the last 7-8 weeks, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for. But anyways, in regards to crypto, one of the positives here, at least from a technical standpoint, is you can see, we came down, had this big washout, and we haven't even attested the lows yet, let alone taken them out. And if we flip over here to some of the kind of the Bitcoin stocks here, so MSTR has done the same thing. So if you've been following my channel, I've been talking about this in some of these other sectors. So we've had this sell-off. We look at like IGV, for instance. You came down here, bottomed, and now you're kind of putting in, a potential little flag off of that bottom. And this is a key level that we hit here, that previous all-time high. XBI hit double bottom here. What an amazing sell-off, by the way. Retraced 100% of the pandemic lows, not the highs, the pandemic lows. And look at a nice bottoming tail there with heavy volume on it, by the way. And again, this sector on the daily did not take out the lows, and it's now flagging up. Semiconductors also not taking out the lows either, filling that gap there. You can see Riot here, another Bitcoin stock, same thing, didn't take out the lows. Marathon, Square. So you're seeing the same kind of thing in these Bitcoin equities, Bitcoin related equities. Whereas, you know, the S&P 500 did take out the low. Now, it did pop back up, but it still made a lower low. The Dow did make a lower low here. The NASDAQ did make a lower low, the triple Qs there. So there is, you know, that positive that, and I said the same thing about the Russell 2000. Russell 2000, same kind of pattern, right? Went right into this, let's flip these lines back on here, went right into this massive area of support. So there you go, previous all-time high. If we can go back further, right? So 2016 trend line there. It's also a 50% fib from the pandemic low to the all-time high. So all these kind of risk assets, Russell 2000, small caps, Riot, you know, Marathon, Bitcoin, all the cryptos, all these kind of risk assets, biotech, cloud software, they're starting to bounce now. Whereas the big cap tech stocks and the large caps, you know, the Walmarts of the world, are not quite, you know, they're getting their turn of selling right now. So we're starting to see these risk on kind of assets start to bid a little bit, and usually that's a leading indicator. Usually that's a bullish indicator for, you know, obviously for crypto and for the markets in general. So that's kind of what we're looking for here moving forward. As far as crypto here, again, for the levels for Bitcoin, again, on the upside, if you can break through, you know, this pivot high here, that is at 32,161.91. If you can get above that on a closing basis, then you can go up and challenge this 34 to 36 area. And then if you get through that, you're looking at about 38, you know, maybe 40,000, but there's a lot of resistance up here at 40,000. I mean, this is where you started to really break down. So that's going to be major resistance up there. And you can see all the levels coincide. Ether, the same kind of thing here. So here's your pivot high at 2182.58. And then you've got this trend line. This is going to be major resistance. So this is a big head and shoulders on Ether. And we have broken down, we've triggered that on a weekly and a daily basis. So if we got up here, this at 2,500, somewhere in that area, that's going to be major resistance. But it doesn't mean we can't, you know, go up there and at least test it. So in the near term, I do think that there's a chance that we can get a little bit of a bid here. Maybe, you know, maybe we have to roll over a bit and test the lows first. I wouldn't rule that out, but we'll see what we get out here. Next week, I still think there's I mean, you know, nothing goes down in a straight line, and, you know, you can only stretch the rubber band so far, right? So eventually there's going to be short covering, and the people who FOMO'd into puts at the lows are going to, you know, they're going to get squeezed out. So we'll see what we get out here next week. Let's take a look. Futures actually just opened. So futures are nicely green already, up 26 points here on the S&P. So that's 0.7%. Big move there. It's only been 15 minutes. It's about 6:15 p.m. right now as I'm doing this video. But we'll see what we get next week. Nice little pop there on the futures. I mean, anything can happen. They could easily roll it over tomorrow. Let's not get too excited here. But a nice move here for the futures. And we'll see if, you know, crypto and all these other risk assets do end up being a leading indicator moving forward for the equity markets. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. We'll see you next week on the charts. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I'll talk to you all later.